What's going on, sports card hobby family? It is another day. We are back with another sports card video. Today we're going to be talking about buying cards, auctions versus bins, buy it nows.
For $79.95, folks, it's unbelievable.
Only 10,000 boxes were produced for general distribution.
And so forth. I'm excited to get into it. If you're new here, you're looking for just about daily sports card content, you have come to the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and connect with me on IG at SportsCardDad. Huge shout out to today's video sponsor, COMC.com, your home for buying, selling, and flipping all the hottest trading cards. Their consignment marketplace now home to over 32 million cards from baseball's biggest stars like Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, and Mookie Betts to Marvel favorites like Spider-Man, Thor, and Captain America. COMC has something for every type of collector, so make sure to visit my links down below in the video description as well as in the pinned comments to take you to COMC.com, and they also have pre-grading service now available as well. So don't hesitate, check out COMC. All right, as we've discussed, I know a lot of folks have gotten out of the hobby that got back in going back a few years ago. Maybe they just got tired of it, pricing crazy, all the different ups and downs, scammy type stuff. But there's also a lot of people that have gotten into the sports card hobby over the last year, couple of years, as prices have subsided down, and they're taking advantage of lower prices than what we saw going back during the boom time.
Collect for the tradition of the sport and not for the investment value, correct?
Yes, I'm a Dodger fan right away. Jackie Robinson Dodge, as you might call them.
And so while, yes, there might not be the same sort of flipping opportunities that we had seen in previous years, there is a lot of great collector style opportunities, buy and hold opportunities, I believe, as prices have really come back down to earth on a lot of cards. And that's not necessarily just low end, that's mid end, that's also on the high end. And actually, a lot of high-end cards coming way down to pre-pandemic price points. This is something where I always have to check myself because, like most of us, I've got a specific card hobby budget that I have to use each week, each month. And so I've got to be kind of picky. And also, too, if there's another card that might exceed that budget, that means I've got to get out of another card that I have in my collection to make sure that I can fund it properly. And one thing that I have seen recently is if I am just patient with a lot of auctions for cards, I can get cards that are quite a bit less than maybe what I'm seeing as a buy it now best offer on eBay. And I'm going to talk specifically about eBay. I have not done buying on PWCC or on Golden, so there could also be a lot of great bargains on these sites as well, as they're auction houses. They're just running stuff at auction and it goes for what it goes for. There's a lot of high-end cards and mid-end cards that go on Golden as well as PWCC. COMC, of course, is kind of nice. You don't have to worry about the returns and that sort of thing, because when you buy something on COMC, it's done. The transaction is over. There's no returnsies. That's it. But on eBay, there's a lot of cards, and it doesn't matter which player you're chasing. There's going to be folks that have some of that more rare stuff, and they've got the buy it now set high with the best offer there. They're not necessarily in a huge hurry to move that stuff. But what you'll see, unless we're talking about, the caveat here is, one of ones or gold prisms out of 10 or some of that really rare stuff that just doesn't pop up very much, more copies do show up. Even if it's something out of 25 or a card that's out of 50, or it's a vintage card that might be mid-grade. I know the high-grade stuff might not pop up as often, but if you're looking at vintage in a 4, 5, 6, and below, that stuff pops up. It comes up here and there. So there's not really times where I've seen, where it just doesn't show up. The volume is out there for a lot of these cards, even the numbered stuff, and maybe you're looking at it in a high-grade numbered card. Even for that stuff, if it's a pop, I bought a couple of Tom Brady 2017 Prisms. They're the purple crystal versions numbered out of 75. The pop is only, for a PSA 10, it's only at 9. I think it might be 10 now, actually. But I have 2 of them, and they both popped up here over the last couple of months. And so these are things that you can kind of watch for, and as the right auction comes, and I've just been patient with certain things, I've been able to get these cards at price points that are quite a bit lower than what we've seen over the last 3 months or 6 months or 12 months. Also, people make mistakes and they set a buy it now that's too low, so to speak. That might be just, hey, I just need to move out of this card. But I don't want to necessarily set it at auction to where I get like a really low price. So I set it at a bin and, with best offer to where I can move off of it. It's at a quick sale type price. And for the people that I'm collecting, I mentioned Barry Bonds here a couple of days ago, and I did get a couple of comments that were really spot on. It's not as if Barry Bonds stuff is inexpensive, for what I'm looking for. If I'm looking at game used autograph type stuff, there's a lot of huge buy it nows on eBay right now for it. But what I'm looking forward to is that hunt. It's the hunt for the right auction at the right price. And I think everyone can relate to this because there's a lot of cards that we want. It's just the price point's not where we want it to be. But then out of nowhere, it pops up on auction, 99-cent auction for 5 days or 7 days. And you're like, oh yeah, I get a shot at this. I get a crack at it. And it might be a bin, $2,000, and the thing is sitting there at a couple $100 with 1 day to go, and you're trying to see like, okay, what's my best offer going to be? What do I think I can get this for? But then I also want to make sure I don't lose it. Like, what's my actual max bid? That whole thought process going into buying cards, I think, is a lot of fun. And so with the card market just having come down quite a bit over the last couple of years, there are certain cards that I thought, hey, look, I'm never going to buy this card. It's way out of my price range. All of a sudden, these cards are back in, baby. They are back in the range. And this even goes for the GOATs. When you talk about like, oh man, I'm not going to buy into a Michael Jordan or a LeBron James or, a Babe Ruth or whatever it is, a Mickey Mantle. Maybe you'll catch something. Maybe you'll catch a deal. You just never know. Even with as hot as this stuff has been, we're in very uncertain economic times, as we've always said, and you just never know any single person's situation. They might have to move off of a card, and it's something that you've been watching. You've been looking for it for 6 months, a year, a couple of years, and finally it comes down to you at a price point that makes a lot of sense. So let me know your thoughts here. I'm curious as to those that are buying cards right now in the singles market. What has been your strategy and where have you found success? Have you found success with buy it nows? The other thing I'll do too is someone has a pretty sizable buy it now, but it's not way off. Like maybe it's a buy it now at $750. And really my price point for the card is, maybe like $400 or $500. And even if they don't have an or best offer, I'll reach out on eBay and just say, hey, look, I'm a buyer at $500. Do you have any room on this particular card? If it's a card I've been looking for a while that I haven't seen pop up on auction. And they might say, no, I'm steady at $750. I don't really need to move it. Or they might say, best I can do is $550. And then I have a decision to make. You kind of haggle back and forth. Just because someone doesn't have a or best offer on eBay doesn't mean that you can't send them a message and just level with them. Hey, I see that you've got it at $750. It's a little higher than where I'd want to be, but I'm not too far off at $500. Can we make a deal at $500? See what happens. And a lot of times it'll work. Some people, they set the buy it nows pretty high, on purpose, just to try to maximize as much as they can possibly get. Maybe they've paid double that, or maybe they're just trying to squeeze out as much profit as they can. Whatever the story is, this is a wide open space in collectibles. Negotiate your butt off. Because to me, I just think that there are some good values that are sitting out there, whether you're speculating or whether you're collecting, whatever it might be. We've kind of entered into kind of more of a correctionals type space to where it just makes sense for a lot of cards. All right, guys, tell me your thoughts in the comments below and kind of the strategies that have been working for you. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.